So, in Los Angeles, you go into Century City, you've got all the financial centers there, you have a lot of entertainment companies there, there's a lot of in-person meetings that were done, a lot of people streaming in from afar, heavy traffic, and that is going to go out the window. If this becomes the trend, there's going to be a decreased demand for commercial real estate. So the office space is going to shrink. You're not going to need as many cubicles. The conference rooms can be far smaller. You are going to see a decreased demand for workers. Even if you keep them on, you are going to allow them to telecommute, and you can actually pay them less because it's going to not cost them in terms of gas to get there, in terms of their time. They're naturally going to be willing to accept a salary that is under what they are currently getting. Similarly, those who remain and are necessary to have in person, because you are able to pay the other people less because you're saving on your space as you have a decreased demand for the real estate, less cubicles as I mentioned previously, you are going to be able to pay those people a little bit more for their time, for the risk associated with any new pandemic that might spread that's going to be fresh on people's mind. Parking structures are going to be able to be repurposed somehow for maybe residential real estate. Maybe they get turned into a green zone. Maybe in certain localities they be turned into farmland. Whatever is the better, greater economic utility, because you're going to see a decreased demand in terms of driving into work, because we're going to be telecommuting a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of business via Zoom. This very well might become the new normal. So you're going to see decreased demand for commercial real estate. You're going to see commercial real estate prices drop. Similarly with oil, because you're going to see less demand for transport, you are going to see oil prices that have already fallen off the cliff because of demand. There's going to be a much lower ceiling than was in the past. This is going to create a lot of global uncertainty. A lot of countries whose budgets rely almost solely on the sale of oil, so for example Venezuela, Iran, these two countries are going to have a heck of a time with their citizenry, because you can no longer just bribe them with oil money that's coming in. You're actually going to have to create real good for them in order to stay in power, and you're going to see a number of revolts. The world will become a much more uncertain place. You're going to see greater volatility in the stock market, as you're already seeing, because it's going to be very hard to price assets because of the unpredictability that is created by the drop in oil prices. Exacerbating this is the fact that Tesla and other electric vehicles are coming into vogue, so you have a decreased demand for oil. It is potential with the borders tightening around countries, so you might see decreased demand for travel. So you're going to see border controls in place because of the pandemic. And similarly, in terms of real estate, residential real estate, you're not going to make a lot of money if you buy a condo in Manhattan right now, because you're going to see an exit onto the suburbs because you want to have more space. With the social distancing and the pandemic not nearly in our rearview mirror, with potential fear of the next thing that China may or may not spread, not that I'm casting any aspersions onto that government, but nevertheless you have the potential to see decreased demand for real estate in the center of the city. Similarly, if you can telecommute, then why would you be paying $4,000 for a 3-bedroom condo in Los Angeles on the marina when you can live further away and be able to conduct nearly the same business? They're going to be able to sleep in their cars. Therefore, the equation in terms of the demand for central real estate there will be different variables. There will be different coefficients in front of the variables, because it's not as big a deal to work from afar. And that is exacerbated when you have the driverless car come out that is going to be able to transport you while you're asleep. So real estate in the center of the city, don't expect it to rise. So these are just some of the ways that I foresee that this pandemic is going to be creating change in the world, and being able to predict where that change will come will enable you as the viewer to become wealthy with the bets if you're able to predict correctly. So I've gotten a little idea. Why don't you guys leave your comments and predict? I want to see how you prognosticate how this pandemic will change the economic scope of the world and the demand for certain products. So give me your thoughts, share this video, and feel free to subscribe. But really, I want to understand how you guys are thinking about this. So share. Peace and blessings, guys.